The invitation arrived at my office in March. Riverside High School cordially invites Dr. Sarah Mitchell to deliver the commencement address at our graduation ceremony, June 10th. I accepted immediately. Speaking to graduates was something I did several times a year, sharing my journey from small-town girl to CEO of a clean energy company that had gone public the previous year. Forbes had listed me in their self-made women issue, but to my family, I was just Sarah, the sister who did something with solar panels. My sister Angela knew her son Kevin was graduating from Riverside. She'd mentioned it at Easter. I'd listened, said congratulations, and didn't mention that I'd be speaking at his graduation. The week before the ceremony, Angela called. "Are you planning to come to Kevin's graduation?" I was thinking about it. Kevin's really self-conscious. With all his friends and their families there, I think it might be better if he didn't come. I set down my pen. "You don't want me at your son's graduation. You tend to stand out. Your clothes, your hair. Kevin's worried people will ask questions. It's his day." "My clothes?" I looked down at my tailored suit. "You're different, and that's fine for your life, but this is Kevin's moment. Can you just skip this one?" I thought about the speech I'd been working on, about the program listing me as the keynote speaker. "I'll stay away from the ceremony," I said finally. "Thank you." Angela sounded relieved. The morning of June 10th, I dressed carefully, a conservative navy suit, my speech notes tucked in my bag. I drove to Riverside High School. The parking lot was filling with families. I pulled into a spot near the back. My phone showed 8:45. The ceremony started at 9, and I needed to be backstage by 8:50. I was reaching for my door when someone tapped on my window. Angela stood there, her face twisted with anger. I rolled down the window. "Angela, what are you doing here? I told you not to come." "I'm just sitting in my car." "You need to leave before Kevin sees you." "I'm parked legally." Her face flushed. "Stay in the car where no one can see you. We don't want people knowing you're related to us. This is Kevin's day, and I will not have you ruining it." She positioned herself in front of my car door. "If you try to go inside, I'll make a scene. Stay in this car, Sarah." She walked away. I watched her disappear into the building. I sat in my car, my speech notes in my lap, and waited. At 8:52, I got out and walked to the back entrance where faculty parking was located. Principal Harris was waiting. "Dr. Mitchell." I was starting to worry. "Sorry, I got held up." He led me to the staging area. The valedictorian Emma smiled at me. "I'm so excited you're here. I read your book for my economics class." "Thank you. That means a lot." Principal Harris checked his watch. 5 minutes. You'll be introduced right after the student addresses." The ceremony began. National anthem, welcome remarks, recognition of honor students. I watched Kevin walk across the stage for an academic achievement award. Then Principal Harris walked to the podium. "Before we continue with diploma presentations, we have a special treat. This year's commencement address will be delivered by someone whose story embodies everything we hope our graduates will achieve. She grew up in a small town not unlike ours, facing limited resources and even more limited expectations. She was told that girls, especially those from working-class families, should set realistic goals. I could see audience members leaning forward, programs rustling as they checked the name. Instead, she earned her doctorate in engineering from MIT. She founded a clean energy company that now employs over 2,000 people and has revolutionized how we think about sustainable power. Her company went public last year with a valuation of $3.7 billion. She's been featured in Forbes, Fortune, and the Wall Street Journal. And perhaps most importantly, she's established scholarship funds that have sent over 300 low-income students to college. Through the gap in the curtain, I could see Angela. She was looking at her program, frowning, mouthing something to her husband. I couldn't see her face clearly, but I knew the exact moment she understood. Her whole body went rigid. "Please welcome Dr. Sarah Mitchell, CEO of Solar Bright Technologies." I walked onto the stage. The applause was loud and genuine. I looked out at the sea of faces, found Angela in the 4th row, and watched her sink lower in her seat. "Thank you, Principal Harris, and thank you to the graduating class of Riverside High. I'm honored to be here today." My speech was one I'd given variations of before, but I tailored it specifically for this moment. I talked about being underestimated, about family members who couldn't see past their own narrow definitions of success, and about the power of education to open doors that others insisted didn't exist for people like us. Some of you have families who believe in you unconditionally, I said, looking out at the audience. Cherish that. Some of you have families who love you but can't understand your dreams. That's harder. And some of you have family members who actively try to diminish you, who tell you you're not good enough, who are embarrassed by your ambitions or your differences. Kevin was sitting in the front row with other award recipients. He was staring at me with wide eyes, clearly recognizing me but not understanding. To those students, I want you to know something important. Your worth is not determined by whether your family can recognize it. Your potential is not limited by their imagination, and their embarrassment says everything about their limitations and nothing about yours. I spoke for 12 minutes about sustainable energy and climate change, yes, but mostly about resilience. About building a life that reflects your values rather than others' expectations. About the particular freedom that comes from success earned entirely on your own terms. When I finished, the applause was thunderous. Students were on their feet. Faculty members clapped enthusiastically. Emma, the valedictorian, had tears in her eyes. I returned to my seat on the stage as the diploma ceremony began. From there, I had a perfect view of Angela. She wasn't clapping. She was staring at her program, her face pale, while the woman next to her whispered something and gestured toward me. After the ceremony, there was a reception in the courtyard. I was immediately surrounded by students asking questions, parents thanking me, and faculty members wanting to discuss the scholarship fund. Principal Harris brought over several seniors interested in engineering programs. A woman approached, extending her hand. Dr. Mitchell, I'm Janet Lawson. My daughter Amy is in Kevin's class. I just wanted to say your speech was remarkable. The part about family who can't see your value really resonated. I hope that wasn't too personal a topic. Sometimes personal experiences make the best teaching moments, I said carefully. Kevin appeared in the crowd, still in his cap and gown, looking confused and awestruck. Aunt Sarah? Hi, Kevin. Congratulations on graduating. You're the commencement speaker? You're a CEO. I didn't know. Mom said you did something with solar panels, but she made it sound like you installed them or something. I do work with solar panels, just in a different capacity than she realized. Your company is worth billions? He looked at his program again, reading my bio. You went to MIT? You've written books? 2 books, one on renewable energy policy, one on business sustainability. Why didn't you ever tell us? I did. Your mother wasn't interested in the details. Angela appeared then, her face tight with anger and humiliation. Kevin, we need to go take pictures with your grandparents. Mom, did you know Aunt Sarah was speaking today? We need to go, now. Did you know she's famous? There are people here who want her autograph. She's been on TV. Kevin. Angela's voice was sharp. He looked between us, and I could see him piecing it together. The parking lot where I'd been sitting in my car, his mother's insistence that I not come, the speech I'd just given about families who try to diminish you. You told her not to come, he said slowly. You told her she'd embarrass us. That's between me and your aunt. You told your own sister not to come to my graduation because you were embarrassed by her. And the whole time, she was the keynote speaker. Kevin's voice was rising. Do you know how many people came up to me just now asking if I knew her? Telling me how lucky I am to have someone like her in my family? Kevin, you don't understand. I understand that you lied to me about who she is. You made her sound like a loser when she's actually accomplished more than anyone else in our entire family. Angela's face was red. People were starting to watch. She grabbed Kevin's arm. We're leaving. I want to talk to Aunt Sarah. Now, Kevin. They left, Angela practically dragging her son toward the parking lot. I watched them go, feeling the familiar ache of family dysfunction mixed with something new, vindication. Principal Harris appeared at my elbow. I hope this wasn't too awkward. Your assistant mentioned you had family here, but I didn't realize the relationship was complicated. Most relationships are in some way. Well, your speech was exactly what these students needed to hear. We've already had 6 parents ask about your scholarship program. And I have a stack of business cards from people wanting to discuss potential partnerships. I stayed for another hour, talking to students and faculty, avoiding the area where I'd seen Angela and her husband. When I finally left, the parking lot was nearly empty. My car sat where I'd left it, in the same spot where Angela had told me to stay hidden. I drove home thinking about shame, about how Angela had wanted me invisible, tucked away where no one could see me or ask questions. About how she built a story about her family that didn't include space for a sister who'd succeeded in ways she didn't understand or value. My success had always been an inconvenience to Angela. It didn't fit the narrative she preferred, where she was the accomplished one, and I was the struggling younger sister who needed guidance. Seeing me on that stage, hearing my credentials read aloud, watching hundreds of people applaud me, it had shattered the comfortable story she'd been telling herself and everyone else for years. That evening, Kevin called me. His number appeared on my phone, and I almost didn't answer. "Aunt Sarah, it's Kevin. I got your number from Grandma." "Hi, Kevin. I wanted to apologize for my mom, for not knowing about your work, for everything. Your speech was incredible. Everyone's talking about it." "You don't need to apologize for your mother's choices. She's refusing to talk about it. They tried to bring it up and she left the room. But I read about you online tonight. Like everything. Articles, interviews, your company's website. You're amazing, and I never knew. Your mom and I have different ideas about success. She told people you weren't coming because you were too busy." After the ceremony, people kept asking why she hadn't mentioned her sister was the speaker. She looked like she wanted to disappear. I felt a twinge of sympathy for Angela, then remembered her face at my car window. "Stay where no one can see you. Kevin, can I give you some advice?" "Yeah. Don't let anyone else define your path, not your parents, not your friends, not society's expectations. Figure out what matters to you and build toward that. The opinions of people who can't see your value, even people who love you, don't determine your worth." That's basically what you said in your speech. It's something I learned the hard way. Can I ask you something? Did my mom really not know you were speaking? She knew I worked in renewable energy. She chose not to ask for details. Because she was embarrassed by you. Because she couldn't imagine that her weird little sister might have built something worth acknowledging. Kevin was quiet for a moment. "I'm proud to be related to you. I know that's weird to say since I barely know you, but I am. And I'm sorry we didn't stay in better touch. That's not your fault. You were a kid. I'm not anymore. I'm starting at State in the fall, engineering program. Maybe I could email you sometimes. Ask questions about the industry? I'd like that very much." After we hung up, I sat on my balcony watching the city lights. My phone buzzed with emails from Riverside students, connection requests from parents, and one message from Principal Harris thanking me again and asking if I consider establishing an annual scholarship specifically for Riverside graduates. Nothing from Angela. 3 days later, a card arrived in the mail. Angela's handwriting, careful and controlled. "Sarah, I need you to understand I was trying to protect Kevin. You've always been different, and I worried that having you there would create complications. I didn't know about your professional success because you never told us. How was I supposed to know? You can't blame me for not asking about something I didn't know existed. I hope we can move past this. You're still family." I read it twice, then put it in my desk drawer. It wasn't an apology. It was a justification, a way of rewriting history to make her the reasonable one and me the secretive sister who'd withheld information. But Kevin had my number now, and he'd called, and he'd used the words "I'm proud to be related to you." That was something Angela had never said, probably never would say, and I was learning slowly that you don't need validation from people who've proven they can't see you clearly. The shame Angela tried to hide in that parking lot had ended up exactly where she feared it would, on full display, but directed at her, not me. Sometimes that's how it works. The person trying to hide you ends up revealing far more about themselves than they ever wanted anyone to see.